Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest 8-Tech in gaming, and in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the 2 best legends to solo queue within each class. Because solo queuing can be tough, picking the right legend can be tough, figuring out a few things like this is hard, I get it, so I'm here to help you guys out. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit for a reason. It's easy, customizable, and super affordable. You can pre-portion and optimize meals just the way you like them and also have it delivered to your doorstep. It's cheaper than grocery shopping and 25% cheaper than takeout. And guys, if you want to be on top of your game and get better at Apex, you need to take care of your body. HelloFresh's ingredients travel from the farm to you in less than a week, and they've got amazing, absolutely delicious seasonal recipes that you can choose from. So do yourself a solid and try HelloFresh today by clicking our link down below to get a special limited discount and free shipping. But okay, let's hop into things now, and while we do go over this, I want you guys to keep in mind I do solo queue quite often. I have actually solo queued to Masters twice before, so I do know a thing or two about what it takes to be good in this solo queue role. So with that being said, let's start in our first class, and this is going to be the Skirmishers. Now the Skirmishers are all highly aggressive. They all have some really good tools that they can pull out every single game, but the 2 that I'm going to go with here are Pathfinder and Wraith. Now Pathfinder did get a really nice buff at the start of Season 16. His zip lines are better, and he can get them faster because all you have to do now is just look at a care package. So you can throw down 3 zip lines potentially in such rapid succession to get you and your team out of situations no matter where you are on the map. They're also really good at taking height, taking different angles in fights. They're just super good in so many different situations, and because you're faster on them now, it's a lot harder to beam somebody off of it. Now Pathfinder does still have some shortcomings. He is still a fairly large hitbox, and if you don't know how to manage his cooldowns properly, you're going to be left hanging out to dry. However, he is still an absolute demon in fights, and he can be taking so many different angles that you are able to just absolutely steamroll a team no matter even if you are solo. And that is also why I have Wraith on this list. Now Wraith is another really solid character for solo queuing because she's allowing you to do something that no other legend does. She allows you to be so aggressive in fights and take so many different hard split angles and even play super far away from your team. If something goes wrong, you have your phase. That's just a get out of jail free card as long as you know how to properly use it. And also her portal is such a long distance now. It can get you so far and allow you to do so many different things. You hear a third party going on, but you don't want to overcommit to it? Cool. Throw a portal down, run to the third party, set up in a different off angle, maybe steal a kill or 2, get back to the portal, go back to your team, and hey, you're safe, you're fine. Wraith allows such a unique, safe style of play that she's such a good option for solo queuing. When I first solo queued to Masters, this was actually the character that I played, and she was in an even worse state, and she still allowed me to do such amazing things, so these are why I have these 2 in the Skirmisher role. But now let's move into the Assault role, and this is another one where there's a lot of very good options, but the 2 that I'm throwing in here are Bangalore and Mad Maggie. Now starting off with Bangalore, she has been seeing a lot more play in the meta recently. Her pick rate has been going up a lot. Now I am going to warn you guys right off the bat before I even talk about Bangalore, she is such a double-edged sword. She can mess your team up just as much as she's messing the enemy team up, so you really have to be careful when playing her. If you use her incorrectly, you are going to be screwing over your teammates, they're not going to be able to help you, and you're going to go down and potentially throw the fight. But on the flip side of that, you can screw the enemy team over and cut off so many different lines of sight and cut off so many different angles to play with both your smoke launcher and your ultimate. Bangalore can be super aggressive, and if somebody's team is a little bit split from them, you can throw a smoke grenade in between them and their team, single somebody out, get them down, make it a 3v2 extremely quickly, and she's also really good in 1v1s because of her double time. It is a massive speed increase that does not take health like Octane or an ultimate ability like Bloodhound. She's in a very solid spot right now, and a lot of people are still going to be picking her up, and if you really want that solid assault legend, then Bangalore should be going for you. But if you're not quite sure if you're good enough with the smokes and you don't want to mess your team up, take a look at our other assault legend. This is going to be Mad Maggie. Now Maggie, I've always loved. I thought she was really strong from the moment she came out, and she's only gotten better. She's really good at finishing off kills because if somebody goes around a corner or just a little piece of terrain to try to heal after they got taken to 1 HP, you just riot drill them, they're down, they're out of the fight. But she's also really good at initiating fights because her wrecking ball does so much to cause chaos, and it gives you a really good speed boost. It also does counter Gibraltar, so if you run into a Gibraltar team and they're trying to bubble res somebody, you throw your wrecking ball, it destroys the dome, they're free shots. And right now, shotguns are in such a good spot, especially in those really up-close fights, and Mad Maggie synergizes really well with them with her passive. They go hand in hand. She's a really strong assault, get-in-your-face character. If you really like to be that type of person in fights where you're the one leading the charge and getting in someone's face, Mad Maggie is a perfect option for you. But now let's move into our control characters, and control is a little bit of a harder class to solo queue with. The control legends really rely on their teammates to help them get out of fights if something goes bad. So these two legends don't rely on that as much. They can kind of hold their own. So these two are Catalyst and Watson. Now Catalyst is another legend that's seeing a ton of play recently. I think a lot of it has to do with TSM picking her up in scrims, but a lot of people are finally realizing the potential that Catalyst has. And I also want to point out that people laughed at me for putting Catalyst super high on our tier list, but now that TSM is playing them, everyone's playing them. So, you know, apology accepted, guys. But yeah, like I said, control legends do have a little bit of a hard time getting out of fights, but Catalyst has one major ability that helps her get out, and that is her wall. That thing blocks a lot of line of sight. And yes, I do know that Seer's ultimate does go over top of it and can work, but Seer has seen a huge drop in his play rate recently, and you don't really see a whole lot of them around. But Catalyst is also really good at funneling enemies into spots that you want them to be in. She can block doors off so that they can't open them unless they want to kick them 4 times. She can throw down her spike traps, and if people don't want to shoot it because it has a decent amount of health actually, they're gonna have to go around it. You can make enemies go where you want them to go and then just set up crossfires and killing floors and just so many different opportunities with Catalyst. And she's also really strong in endgame situations, because if there's only a few teams left and they're focusing you throw down your wall, they can't see you, then they're focusing on the other teams and you get a little bit of a breath of fresh air. Catalyst is super strong right now. She's really good. She's not the best solo queue legend, but if you really want to play control legend, Catalyst is probably a good option. But now let's talk about our second control legend, and this is going to be Watson. Now Watson doesn't really have anything to help her get out of fights. The only thing that she really does have is her fences. So as you're running away from a team, you can be fencing off doors, fencing off choke points, stuff like that to slow them down a little bit, and once you're able to slow them down, you can potentially get away. That's kind of why I have Watson here. Caustic is kind of the same, but Watson's able to do it just a little bit better because it takes more effort to shoot a Watson fence than it does a Caustic barrel. Now Watson's also really strong at holding buildings. She is a control legend, and much like Catalyst, she can create different funnels for people. Unless they want to try and blow your door off, they're going to have to go into different situations and different spots to play in. And that is what you guys want as a control legend. You want to control the area. Watson also makes it impossible for you to get naded out. If somebody's just spamming grenade after grenade, your ultimate's going to eat it up. And with her being able to carry 2 ultimate accelerants, you should always have a generator up. Now Watson does fall off on some maps because she does not work very well in open areas, but as long as you can avoid those open areas and actually pick up a building to play in, she can do perfectly fine and hold her own. So those are the 2 control legends that I got for you guys. So now let's move into the Recon class. Now Recon class is super strong right now. If you're playing ranked, you pretty much should have a Recon character on your team just to see where everyone is on the map and plan your game based off that. But if you're solo queuing, there are 2 that I do recommend, that being Bloodhound and Vantage. Now Bloodhound is pretty much a given right now. The scans super strong, Recon super strong. Bloodhound is still in a fantastic spot. They were trying to get rid of scans a little bit in season 16, but all they did was really just kind of make them stronger in certain ways. And Bloodhound being able to get their ultimate extremely quickly with the White Ravens that are on the map and ultimate accelerants, they're able to have it pretty much every single fight. And that is such a strong ultimate to have every single fight. There's a reason that it has a very long cooldown, but Respawn just made it so you don't really have to pay attention to the cooldown. And the scans are still good. You're getting that 1 second of full wall hacks, and then after it's just a little diamond that follows them around. But the diamond that follows them around still tells you where somebody is in a fight. Bloodhound is still a very strong character, and if you want to play a scan character, Bloodhound is definitely the go-to. Some people might be asking about Seer, and Seer's a lot less user-friendly. He relies a lot more on his team coordination now and being able to play around them, and while you're solo queuing, it's not the best option for you. Bloodhound is a lot more of a self-sufficient legend. They're able to take control on their own, and they don't rely on their team as much. So that is why Bloodhound is the go-to scan legend. But now some people might be wondering, why do you have Vantage here? And Vantage is another very strong legend. She is such a slept on pick right now. Personally, when I solo queue right now, Vantage is one of my go-to legends because she just allows you to do so much in a game. She's a recon character. You can scan the beacon, figure out where everybody is, plan rotations based off that. Broken record type deal here. But she also has a very strong passive giving you information on teams when they're running around the map. If you want to take control of a fight and you see, hey, this team is down a member, that's only a 2 squad, we have a full 3-man, let's fight them. We have the advantage. And you also know what armors they have. You can say, hey, my squad's all purple armor, they have a blue and a white. This is such an easy fight. Or alternatively, you can see one person potentially ratting on the map and you look at them and notice, hey, it's not actually a rat, it's a full 3-man with purple armors, we're not going to fight this. All that information on its own is very strong, but then you couple that with her tactical, which is a great relocation tool during fights or even to just take high ground to get different angles to see if there's other people around you that you can use your passive on. That gives her even more potential in fights, and it's actually on a fairly low cooldown. You can use it quite often. And then you have her ultimate, which is just such a strong sniper rifle because you are hitting so much damage and allowing your team to do so much more damage. And the bullets are fairly big on the sniper rifle. They did nerf them a little bit, but they're still massive, so you can be hitting people a lot when you shouldn't be hitting them. Like, I've sniped a bunch of Valkyries out of the air with their ultimate fairly easily. Like I said, Vantage is such a slept on legend. If you're looking to play somebody that's a little bit off meta, Vantage is definitely the go-to for you, but she's still super strong. But okay, now let's jump into the last class, and this is going to be the support legends. Now, typically supports were in kind of a weird situation like the control legends where they don't have anything to help them get out of fights if it were to go sideways, but these two legends actually do, and these are Newcastle and Loba. Now, Newcastle is another super slept on pick. He has such a low pick rate in the meta, and I don't understand why. He's able to create so much different cover, get your team out of situations that they shouldn't be in, and allow you to play spots that you normally shouldn't be able to play. If your team is late to zone and every single building's taken and you have no idea what to play, hey, guess what? He can slam down an ultimate, now you have a spot to play. And that ultimate is also his way of getting out of fights if things go sideways, because if he gets split off from the team, normally a support would just die because there's no way for them to get back to their team easily. But Newcastle's ultimate allows him to jump to teammates, so if he's caught out, he just jumps back to safety and you guys are perfectly fine. You're able to reset, you're able to heal up. And his revive is super strong. Being able to put a knockdown shield in front of somebody and drag them out of the line of fire is just so good. Newcastle's the go-to revive person for solo queuing. If you're playing like a Lifeline or maybe even Mirage for his revive, potentially swap to Newcastle and have that playstyle instead. But now let's talk about Loba. And Loba is in a very strong spot right now because she has so much opportunity with her bracelet and black market. You can be taking off angles in fights, you can be escaping from fights, you can just be moving around the map easier with the bracelet. It's really good, it's very versatile, and thankfully Respawn has worked out all the bugs that it did have a couple seasons ago where it just did not work. And then her black market, you can be gearing up your team, you can be snagging loot from other teams, you can be taking armor swaps, you can be taking heals, you can be taking ammo to continue to poke at people. Loba sets you up for so many different playstyles, so many different opportunities, and on top of that, she is a support character, so she can craft banners if things go south. She can get out with her bracelet if her team dies, she can run away, she can craft the banner, she can pick the banners up with her ultimate, and she can just always be useful no matter what, because if your teammate does get revived in, you throw down another black market, they're able to grab just the bare minimum of essentials, and guess what, your team's back in the fight now. Loba is the strongest support character right now for a very good reason, that's why I also have her here. But let me know your favorite legend to solo queue with in the comments down below, and if you guys want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Apex Legends tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys all for watching. Once again, I'm 8 Gaming, and I'll see you guys in the next one.